right. Awesome. What's going on, guys? Thank you for tuning in and being here with us. If you're live on the Zoom room right now, do me a favor, click that little camera button, make sure it's on, because we have a guest that I want her to be able to see all your support when she comes on. This girl is a pro, and you guys are going to be blessed to be able to hear a little bit of the things that she does. Let me bring this microphone a little bit closer so it sounds clearer, too. Miss Miranda, are you with us?
I'm here. Thanks for having me. I love this energy.
Oh man, I bring it every time. It's like, you know what? I could be so tired and falling asleep and like sipping on my coffee, but the time that I know that I have to pour back and get the chance to talk to you in front of everyone just pumps me back up. Man, so Miranda, we've I'm gonna first of all start by thanking you, right? Because ever since I came over to Unitrust, you're like, yeah, Luis, I remember you from back then, and like you just kind of welcomed me with open arms and have always been there as a support system. So on a one-on-one basis, just want to let you know I appreciate your friendship and the support, and thanks for having me, as part of the team.
Sure.
How long have you been doing this for now? Let everybody know a little bit about Miranda Peters and like your background.
Goodness, yeah. So it's been about 6 years at this point. I come from a marketing background. I told myself I would actually never be in sales, and then I did join a different company to start. I guess that would be my practice. Is that what they call it? And I've been here at Unitrust for about a year and November, December, January, like 14, 16 months-ish. I've been
Okay.
here at Trust, so a little bit of a transition because I came from selling in person to telesales.
Did you like selling in person?
I did.
Did
I
you
did.
like driving to all the places?
No, I didn't.
Are you liking selling over the phone?
I am now. At one point, I thought I would never sell over the phone. I was like, you can't take me out of the field. But I was
Why?
traveling. I was traveling to multiple states. Like I was on a plane and running in Florida. And then I drive over to Alabama when I got home. And so I was just running 3 states all the time. And so there's pros and cons to both. But now,
So crazy.
now you can't get me to leave my house unless it's to go to the gym.
Isn't that amazing though? Just like, and you brought up gym, I'm gonna bring that up here in a little bit. But it's so cool, like the changes for the times and where we are now. I also, just like you, never thought that I was gonna leave the field because I enjoyed it so much. Yeah, I hated driving an hour to go spend half my day wherever it is, but I was blessed listening compared to yours. I was able to keep all my business, an hour north, an hour south. And when I was running mortgage protection, like that was all the driving that I was doing, and I would still complain. But you were jumping on planes, you were running different states, you were getting hotel rooms to stay at unless you knew somebody else or had a house at the other places. You were literally like that's the biggest definition of commitment to be able to make the business work. Like if you can do that, how can you not do this, right?
Right.
It's just if people are listening, like you're so lucky that things have changed and now it's COVID gave us this. Right now we can actually do it over the phone. And so we got you out the field. You've been doing it here for about a year and a half. For all the people that were like you and I that enjoyed so much sitting with people and getting that one-on-one, what do you think was the biggest shift or change that you had to like endure or surpass or like be able to like say, all right, here's my, I guess, the biggest changes you had to make to go on the phone.
Yeah, so I think a lot of it, I felt like they weren't going to trust me over the phone because in person people can kind of see that you're a real human and the trust is kind of almost instantly there. You know, you show your credentials when you get in the door and sit down at the table. Um, Gosh, this is bringing me back. I haven't thought about an in-person appointment in a while. But initially I thought that I had to be like extra friendly over the phone and just get them to trust me, I guess. Um, and I realized that like it's a little bit more transactional over the phone versus in person. Um, and the biggest thing was just realizing it's the same results. It's the same, like it's all about numbers. I just needed to talk to more people over the phone. Like in person, I was kind of getting away with anywhere from 20 to 30 appointments a week. Whereas Over the phone, it's going to be closer to 40 to 50 a week, right? To have the same results. So at the end of the day, it's just numbers. And instead of the time driving between appointments, you're just picking up the phone. So that was kind of the biggest adjustment for me. It took me a little bit. I would say it took me some weeks to make that mental shift. But I think that people coming in here with no prior sales experience actually have more of a benefit than what we did, having to relearn everything, because that's like they're just coming in knowing nothing. And I almost wish that I came in knowing nothing. Does that make sense?
It's such a blessing in disguise to be so ignorant to the field because you only get to learn the way that it's supposed to be done, right? Like if I was brand new, I would do nothing but watch Brandon Hall, Michael Orange, and the daily trainings of all the studs that we have and do exactly what they tell me without allowing my previous habits to bring in like bad things, right? Because I was just like you, like, hey, what's going on, guys? Luis is here. I'm gonna sell you some insurance, and we're gonna be friends. You might not want to, but we're gonna be friends, and I'm gonna have an application. I'm gonna leave this house with a policy. So when I'm doing that on the phone, it just doesn't convey the same. It's a little awkward, right? Like, who is this overly friendly guy that's telling me about his dog and kids? And it just doesn't really go that way. So I've been able to learn a lot from just listening to you, to Brad, because you guys have a great flow to you. It's just more even keel, more relaxed, right? Do you feel like your in-home presentations are similar to your on the phone presentations?
Um, Not really. I mean, as far as like gathering the information, I guess for what I would call like the suitability, like, health and income and all that is similar. But other than that, they are different because it is just sticking to the script of what Brandon put out. And that script is much different than what we're used to from before. So again, just kind of having to like unlearn that and then relearn.
And I mean, we almost didn't even really have a script, right? It was just like, here's kind of the basics and go do it. And it was kind of the wild, wild west. Like we could do a little bit of everything and try a little bit of it all, and just at the end of the day, try to make the sale as best as you possibly can. I remember the way that I used to show the policies and break them down. Oh my God, that took so long. I can't, it would just be like 20, 30 minutes and showing numbers when here it's just like, hey, here's your three options. Let's go over two of them only. Pick one of those. And if you want higher, I will. But if not, I'm already filling out the application. That part right there, was that a shift for you into just going directly into application before them even really saying that, yeah, I want to buy this?
Absolutely. That part is something that I still need to be conscious of, like every day is like just keep going, just keep pushed it into the application we go. Because yes, in the home they would pick a plan. It wasn't like we were just in their home, like, assume it's a different kind of assumption, I guess.
Yeah, it really is. It really is such a different assumption. Like I love it. I think I learned. I joke with everyone. I feel like Mike has the application already up and it's like filling out the name when he's first saying hello, right? Like just that quickly and that fast into that. But there's a certain level of assumption that we're going to take and we're going to walk them through the process and get to the very end and to get the results. And so let's highlight a couple things and then I want to go a bit into some of the things we spoke about the other day when we were catching up. Do you know your numbers? Like I had to pull them up and dude, I'm impressed.
No, not really.
Right? Like that's how humble she is. So she's like, money comes in and I'm happy and I'm selling. And one thing before I go into the numbers that when I was talking to Miranda that she's really, really keen or like in line with me on, she also, and you'll notice her post on her WhatsApp team every now and then she'll be like, okay, sold six policies today for $6,000. It's been about 2 days, and I felt like I couldn't sell insurance anymore, but glad that I was able to. Like, you know what I'm talking about. When those days that we have those dry spells that it's just things are a little bit tough, how do you recenter yourself to be able to come back to just knock it out the park again?
Yeah, I think it comes down to honestly just the discipline that I've developed through the years. I definitely didn't start that way. When I first got into this business, I realized that we work for ourselves, which is a great thing because we work for ourselves, but no one tells you to when you have to go to work, right? So that has to be something internal. And I had to do a lot of self-development when I first got into the business. I read a lot of, motivational books and podcasts. And I actually went through and did 75 hard to create that kind of discipline. And I think that, like, I know at this point, as dramatic as I can be sometimes. Sometimes I just want to jump off a cliff and not really. But sometimes I'm just like done. I'm like, I'm done. I don't know how to do this. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, am I sure I'm doing the same thing I did like last week? Like what did I do? I know that the numbers work themselves out, right? I know that you guys hear this all the time, but like you might have a bad day, you might have a bad week, but you'll never have a bad month as long as you're staying consistent. And with that consistency comes discipline, right? It's not always easy to, go 2 days in a row and not sell anything. And then day three, you have to get up and you have to do it again. But I know that there are people out there that do need our help. And with that, our family's going to be supported in the process of that. So I try not to worry too much about it. I'm a human. And so sometimes I can get emotional about it, but you get frustrated. But you just keep going. And I think they said it on the training call today is like, you have to talk to each person that you call. Like the first three people, they might have hung up the phone on you. They might have been mean. They might have cursed you out, which I've still gotten. Um, but the next person that you call is a brand new person. So I try and like reset my mind, reset my tone, and like chill out for a second if I have to before I pick up the phone and call the next person. Because I think every client that you call, they deserve the best of us, right? Because ultimately we're kind of fighting for the beneficiary at the end of the day.
Yeah, and they might not see that. And that's where we have to do a good job in showing them that. Like, listen, this is not for you, right? This is going to be for your family, for your kids. Would you want them to have a house free of a mortgage? So, God forbid you passed away. If you say no to that, then just move on to the next person, right? Because they clearly just don't care, and it's not their prerogative right now. So move on. Oh man, I had something in my mind that I did want to bring up right now that you just kind of touched on, and I know I'm making everybody kind of wait for your numbers here, but you have such a smooth pace when you talk to people. You're doing it now. Like you don't even realize. Like you're such a good speaker and it's so well received and you're just so natural with it that everyone watching is probably just like, oh, I love it when Miranda talks, you know? And that's how I'm feeling it right now. And you do the same thing on the phone. It's calming the way that you pass that on. Did you develop that over time somehow, or how did you end up coming up with, I guess, your style of sales? Because it's not sales at all. You're literally just backing down, making them feel comfortable, explaining, and boom, closed. How did you get to that?
Yeah, for sure. So I think that yes, that was definitely something developed initially when I started. Again, I would have that customer servicey, I worked in customer service for 6 years. So I had to be like uppity on the phone, and we had these pens that would tell us to smile, pick up the phone and smile. They can hear your smile or something. And so I that does not work here. Um,
Don't
like
smile.
I think actually there was this type of lead that some of you guys might know about called internet leads. Those trained my cadence on the phone so fast. So like I- just to kind of so we're super spoiled here at Unitrust. I used to have to buy about 150 internet leads for 2 days of appointments, right? In-person appointments. So I would start dialing Sunday night from like 4 to 7 to get a head start on booking for Tuesday and Wednesday. And then on Monday, I'd come in and I'd finish booking my Tuesday, Wednesday out of 150 leads. So I was dialing Sunday for a few hours and then Monday all day long to book probably 16 to 20 appointments for Tuesday, Wednesday. This was for my travel trips. So calling through those leads, you had to have a tonality of like, I hate my life. I don't want to be calling you. I
Hmm,
just very, very monotone. That's what worked for me. And so coming over, making that shift into mortgage protection and coming over to Unitrust and doing telesales, like I know the friendlier I sound and the more uppity I sound, the more salesy I sound. So you kind of have to just like, hey, this is my job. Like, I don't care if you buy or not. I'm just getting through the process of what I have to ask you. You know, now don't get me wrong. If I pick up the phone and Miss Mary's all excited and she like had a great day at work or whatever, she got a raise. I don't know. I'm gonna match her tone, right? I'll pick it up a little bit, but for the most part, I'm just level.
totally. Uh,
And it came with practice. It came with time.
and that's what I wanted to bring up before, like, just so all the new people that are listening right now that might be going through some struggles, just know that because you see her submitting, 10 plus K a week, it doesn't just didn't just come overnight with her. Like she put in the grind, literally traveled from Georgia to Alabama and to Florida, and through that she learned. Like that's the advantage that we had is so you know what? We know how to explain this stuff and we know how to fill out an application. Other than that, it's brand new to us too on how to be able to do this on the phone, and we all have our learning curve. Some curves are going to be steeper than others, right? And I feel like I'm always still going through mine just because I'm so roller coaster riding the things that I do and my emotions and how I go for it. I'm just trying to fit so many different things into the day that it takes me on this roller coaster. But then I have conversations with people like you, like Mike, like Brad, like Kane, and just talking to them, be like, listen. She tells me this every time, like, Luis, you know how to sell insurance. Trust the numbers. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'm like, thanks, Miranda. I can't sleep well tonight. It's awesome. So this week and this well you had a nice vacation over the Christmas break too, took some time off there, and we're just wrapping up January now. It's still a couple days left, so if y'all have to put in some extra policies to have it count for the month, they're still good. You're still good till tomorrow. um but this week so far with 2 days left, you've already put in $8,400 submit. Last month you came in at number 19 for the company out of the whole month with 43,000. Any idea what you did like over the last 180 days and 6 months?
I know I averaged 35 to 45 a month.
35 to that's a great average. I love that. Right? So I mean, you're knocking the door of half a mil of a quarter million, $244,000 in half a year, right? For 2024, January 1st to December 31st, Miranda, look how it's so predictable. We see the half year numbers, and you can literally take that and multiply it by two, and it's gonna give you the year wise. $482,000 submit. Number seven in the company. Y'all give her that golf clap out there because she is absolutely killing it, right? $393,000 issue paid. And it just shows to make numbers like that, you take selling life insurance, mortgage protection seriously, and you're damn good at it. So good job. One thing we spoke about is that this business can take a lot from you. And we have to, as people, not just as agents, figure out a way to put ourselves first. Want to talk a little bit about that so that everyone is reminded of what that means?
Yes. So I have been very guilty of like 12 hours a day in my office. My husband reminding me to eat or bringing me food in so that I eat. And My goals this year were to kind of take a step back a little bit from that and focus back on, kind of having some kind of balance, right? Making sure that I'm still taking care of myself. I've been going to like workout classes and going to the gym and walks and um, kind of unplugging a little bit for lunch, for example. Like I'll take between after training usually until 1:32 when my appointments start, and like like actually get out of my office. Like my husband's like, okay, come on, we're gonna have lunch out here, whatever it might be, and just take some time for you as well, because it can get it, you can only operate like that for so long, right? um yes, this is a grind. This business is it's simple, but it's not necessarily the easiest thing, mentally. And so I think that it's just important to make sure, like I've have my schedule kind of time blocked out, so I know, hey, when's my family time. I made a small adjustment, like instead of cutting my day off at 8 p.m., I cut my day off at 7 p.m. So I'm trying to like, you know, kind of spend some more time with my husband in the evenings, because there were times I would be here till 9 o'clock at night and he's like, oh, I'm going to bed or whatever. I already ate dinner without you. And I'm like, okay, cool. So,
Thanks.
just stuff like that, like little tweaks that I think are going to make a big difference, because you do need to also reset your mind and take care of yourself, or else you're not going to be able to operate at full capacity for the business.
100%. I'm so glad you said that, right? So we can't forget, yes, our business is going to be our number one driver, income producer, but don't forget about the people that you're doing it for, and that includes yourself. So if it's going to take you finding the time to fit it in, it's just going to be super important. Like I'm lacking on it too. I used to be that 5 o'clock in the morning, wake up time, get up, get on the treadmill, do a little something for myself, and I'm just not doing the movement. So I appreciate this training right now because it's giving me some of that reminder. Like, Luis, get on it. You gotta move. I bought this stand up desk, so I'm not sitting all day long and I'm up and down. But it's literally this is it, right? Like I'm not moving from this office. I feel like a hermit crab in my shell. Um, my daughter came into the office 2 times yesterday in the middle of appointments just because she wanted me to like go and be part of something, and like they are the reason why I'm doing this, right? So not only do I have to be able to fit in and maximize the time that we have in office to be able to pitch and to sell, but we also have to remember that our health is going to be the most important part for us to be able to do this for ourselves and for everybody else. So, guys, with that said, take it from Miranda herself, put a little emphasis in your health, get out, move around, don't be a hermit crab and be in the office all day long, only focusing on this. Because in order to be able to be mind strong, you have to take care of yourself first, right? That's a big thing you mentioned on there. She talked about her husband Corey. He's a good guy over there. Got to spend some time with him at the conference, and we ended up catching up for hours just talking football. So absolutely loved it. Let's leave off here with your well, you're building too. You're putting some emphasis in growing and getting your team in here, and whatever anyone in the team can do to help, we got each other's back here. That's what we love about this culture. But what would you say is the best advice for people just getting going, getting started, that would maybe just help and propel that a little bit more?
Yeah, so I would say staying consistent and sticking to a schedule is going to be crucial. It's so easy because we work from home. It's so easy to get distracted with other things, running errands or, taking care of kids. We don't have kids yet, I have two dog children, but it is easy to like get distracted with all the things that could possibly happen, whatever it might be. Is if you set your schedule and you stick to it consistently day in and day out, no matter what, like I don't care. I mean, I don't care if somebody needs a ride to work, or if, your husband wants you to run to the grocery store for something. Like, okay, I can do that, but when I'm done working, just because I'm at home working doesn't mean I'm just at home. Like I am working, just as if I was at a real job. Like if I was at an office somewhere, I'm sorry, but I can't just leave work in the middle of the day to run an errand for you. It's got to be when I'm done working. And so sometimes that also might include like having those conversations with your family or your spouse or your kids or whoever that might be so that they understand, hey, when I'm in here, I'm working just as if I was at a real job. So I think you guys have to treat this the same way and just stay consistent and don't give up. Because this does work. You have to work it.
It does work. You just have to work it.
Yeah.
Mark that one down. Mark that one down, Mike, for the next podcast. We're gonna bring that in. It does work. You just have to work it. Listen, it's so true, right? And you just spoke a little bit about communication with your spouses. I feel like this business, and I think Grayson, Chris, Brad will be able to attest to this, could be taxing in a relationship because you're in a full commission only. There's a sense that you're gonna have so much free time, like you're your own business person, and there might not be that full understanding from the other side, or at times for many people that are new into the industry, the support might not be there. Like, you might be going through your struggles of learning, and that person would say, hey, this is never going to work out for you. Why would you ever get into life insurance? What are you doing taking a commission only job? Are you crazy? I think I had this conversation with Brad when we shot the podcast, and it's just like, hey, my brother went into it against my own advice, telling him, you're going to go into an insurance. Please don't do this. Please don't fall for this scams. But man, can this be rewarding if you work it? And so I know you gave some tips here on the conversations with your spouses, right? I think one of the best things, and tell me if you guys do this, is to be able to have a shared calendar for the family. And within that family calendar that you guys can have where you guys can both add things in. Like sometimes I gotta take time off from work to go to my daughter's recital or their teacher's conference at school that it's important for me as a parent to be at. But if I don't see it on my calendar, I might just book right through it, right? Although she tells me, hey, next Saturday we got this birthday party to go to. I don't hear those things. I don't remember those things. We got to put them down on calendar. And because you're doing that, mark your time off. 8 o'clock to 11 dials. More likely than not, things won't get added into that because you're busy dialing. 11 to 12, training. 12 to 1, 12 to 2, do what you got to do. Get your workout in, read a book, get some food, take that time for recruiting and making some phone calls and picking up that URS system that we have here. And then, book out your time for your schedules for you to be able to run appointments on. White space is bad space, so keep it full, but you can save time for family and availability to that. Do you guys share a calendar?
We do. We do. Yeah. And so we've got our non-negotiables on there and kind of work around things that, I can attend and can't attend. And yeah, we kind of have an idea as far as what each other's schedules look like for sure.
Love that. So important. You want to leave off with something here for all of our peeps?
Yeah, for sure. I would just say, hey, like don't give up on this thing. Um, develop that discipline if it takes listening to again, like motivational podcasts, reading self-development books, like working on yourself. I know that a lot of times people, I think, like to blame like the system or the leads or this person hung up on me or whatever. But I think that if you truly take a step back and kind of do some self-analyzation, is that what I'm trying to say? I think that there's a lot that can be done, and you just have to kind of look internally at some things and just keep pushing. Um, I think the only way that you can really fail at this is if you're not plugging in, you're not asking for help, and if you're not just running the numbers. Um, if you're doing all those things, this is one of the best opportunities, if not the best opportunity that like I can't think of any anything else that I would be doing. So
Yeah. Where else can you go and make $500,000, 400, $300,000, $700,000 without, the training, the schooling for that. And again, all I can think of is, big time doctors or big time lawyers or business owners. And that's what you are here. That's the opportunity you have, is to be your own business owner under a system that works, right? This is you buying a McDonald's in the 1980s. Now put that McDonald's to work for you. It's gonna make you money, but you gotta follow the system. You gotta follow the way they do things. Dude, again, I know my gratitude has been out there plenty for you, and definitely just want to say it again. Thank you so much. Thank you for pouring back into all these agents. I know that they're thankful for that. Guys, reach out in the WhatsApp. Miranda's always active. She'll be happy to answer some questions. And if y'all have anything, make sure you reach out. But be here in this training. Let's put a little more emphasis into growth. I was having a conversation with Pete Beckman. And he was like, you know what? He's like, how much do you want to sell? I was just like, I want to sell a lot. He goes, I don't want you to sell. I want you to grow, because there's the beauty of this, right? We're both gonna have those. We're all gonna have the opportunity to have our two pillars: our personal production and our team production. This takes total max effort for you. Here, you get to help build, you get to help coach, and that's why you have people like Miranda, myself, and everybody else as a veteran to even help you grow. So, it doesn't matter where you are in the process, guys. Don't be shy. Reach out to somebody else. Start building your team a little bit at a time, and you'll notice that by doing that, it'll propel you, it'll help you move forward in understanding the business better, in helping somebody else do better, and by doing that, you'll start doing better. Love you all. Another great call. Miranda, thank you so much. Let's get out there and kick some butt. We're out.